Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Matters That Matter. This is Simran, and I'm in conversation with my mentor, Susie Singh. So, after viewing our last episode, one of our community members from Singapore raised a very important and pertinent issue with us. She wrote into us saying that it seems like the control delete buttons of her mind are omitted, and she always finds herself in the grip of fear, whether consciously or unconsciously, even when she's trying to pray, when she's trying to sleep subconsciously. It seems like her mind constantly brings the fear back, and it's always simmering below the surface. So that brings us to the question we like to explore today, and that is, how can we deal with this fear that I'm sure all of us are presently dealing with as we are faced with this uncertainty? So, Susie, what do you think? What should be our response to this fear?
The thing is that as humans, we don't like uncertainty. We like to be in control.
Yeah.
And right now, everything is in this whole realm of the unknown. There is the fear. The fear is really real because there is the fear of how this is going to affect us. Are the families safe? Will I catch the infection? Will I fear about my job? Will I get a pay cut? Will life go back to normal after this is all over? So I guess the most important thing for us right now is to practice emotional hygiene.
Yes.
And that really stems from the fact that if we don't attend to our emotions, then they are going to gather and collect within us, and they're going to do their job of creating inner turmoil. The same turmoil that we find reflected outside in the world is going to be like a mini universe unfolding inside of me. So how do we practice emotional hygiene? I think it starts with self-diagnosis. Becoming aware that I am feeling some emotional discomfort. And the steps of the emotional diagnosis we can employ is to actually ask ourselves, when there is some sort of an emotional upset happening within us, to be in the awareness that I'm not feeling right, I'm not feeling good. I seem to have slipped from my center of stability. So diagnose it for yourself. What am I feeling now? Ask the question. And your mind will automatically respond to that question and say, well, I'm feeling fear, or I'm feeling sad, or I'm feeling out of control. And whatever that might be, then you need to ask yourself, okay, can I feel that feeling right now? Am I in touch with that feeling? Can I connect to that feeling? And if for some reason I can't, then the next question in the self-diagnosis is, why am I resisting this? Am I feeling some kind of resistance? And to choose it and say, but I'm choosing to feel this uncomfortable feeling right now. And to remind yourself that it's safe for me to be with this feeling. And then allow that feeling to actually emerge from hiding. Because we have been conditioned from the very beginning to avoid fear. You know, we've been told that we have to be brave, and being brave means not giving in to the fear. And the resistance is arising from that conditioning. So practicing these steps by asking ourselves these questions, so my inner state has an opportunity to respond to my questions and allow me to connect with that feeling, be with that feeling, and allow that feeling to arise rather than suppressing it. Because if I suppress it, or if I engage with it and say, oh my God, this is going to be terrible, I don't know what I'm going to do, both of those two things are only going to increase this uncomfortable feeling in me.
Right. So, you said we should connect with ourselves and ask ourselves the question. But a lot of times I've heard, like you said, it's our conditioning to avoid feeling, not just fear, but any kind of emotion. So people don't know how to feel. And I've heard this a lot from people who are very disconnected from within, that whenever they ask themselves this question, what am I feeling? Or somebody asks them, what are you feeling? They go blank, they
Yeah.
go numb. They don't, it's like a blank screen in their mind. They don't know the answer to that.
So
So, what to do when that happens?
that too is a feeling, the feeling of blankness or
Right.
numbness.
Mm-hmm.
And we must allow that numbness to arise fully, because that numbness is telling us something. What is this numbness telling me now? And that'll take me to the fear of feeling the feeling, that I'm terrified of
Hmm.
feeling this, or I'm terrified of feeling this sadness because I don't want to be sad, or I don't want to be fearful, or I don't want to feel out of control. And that's the time that I need to talk to myself with empathy.
Right.
And empathy really meaning the ability to open myself up to feel fully without any judgment, without any distortion, without wanting to avoid, escape, or fix a feeling. So let me sit with that feeling like my best friend and give it my listening. And to remind yourself, I am willing to practice empathy with myself in this moment. Now
Okay.
that'll allow that resistance that we are feeling, or that numbness, to begin to dissolve.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay for me to feel this feeling now. It is safe for me to feel this feeling now. Those constant reminders, like we would if we were sitting with our best friend or someone we really love, or our own child, and to
Mm-hmm.
reassure them, it's okay, Baba, you can feel this feeling now. So speak to
Yeah.
yourself with that same tenderness, gentleness, same degree of deep, compassionate empathy.
Right. So the feeling of numbness is also a feeling. So we have to be
Absolutely.
in acceptance of whatever state or whatever it is that is coming up for us. And also, do these things come up in layers? So if the feeling of numbness is coming up, do you think that if we are compassionate enough and sit with it, we will eventually get in touch with our fears, real fears that might be simmering unconsciously, subconsciously below the surface?
Well, there are usually several layers, and feelings tend to nest one beneath the other.
Okay.
So, the presenting feeling that we may encounter may be one thing, but there may be other feelings hiding beneath it. And
Right.
the simple act of sitting with a compassionate, empathic approach with my own feeling will allow those to unravel.
Hmm.
It's a journey into our own selves,
Hmm.
but there has to be a willingness, a deep and true intention to work with it, because without the practicing this emotional hygiene, we cannot build emotional resilience, because it takes courage to actually address everything that we have been conditioned to avoid or escape all our lives. So we have to
Right.
counter that conditioning. We have to overcome that conditioning first.
Right. Okay, I think that was very helpful for anybody who wants to get started on this journey of practicing emotional hygiene. I hope all of you found this helpful. We'd like this to be an ongoing conversation, so please write to us your questions right down in the comment section, or you can DM them to us if you don't feel comfortable writing them out in public. Thank you for joining us and see you soon.